Hi, I'm Tom Lynch, and I've invited you back in my studio for another art lesson. But hey, before I get started, let me take a minute and share with you something. You'd be surprised on how some of the little things can make a big difference in your finished painting. It's the palette I want to take a minute about. Now, I've talked to you before about having a palette that doesn't have a lot of dividers so that you can have colors run into each other. But there's a way in which these colors can run into each other because of the type of palette that you have. Let me invite you in closer and take a look at something and watch the way color ideas will appear right before your very eyes. Yes, it's a porcelain palette. Take a look at this. Okay, here's a close-up of my palette. This is made by the Richardson Art Company, and I have 6 wells on each side, a total of 19, and then one long trough that could also hold extra color, or a lot of times I just use it to hold my brushes. We have the brush holders, on the corners, so it keeps your brushes up and out of the way and quickly able to be grabbed. My theory of color, aside from the uniqueness of the palette, I choose a light and a dark of the brightest color. These is the brightest color the manufacturer makes. I like a light, medium, and dark sometimes for my reds and say my blues. We'll get into and share with you some more about the colors later on, but the main aspect I want to share with you is the design with porcelain. Now, you've seen palettes with a lot of dividers, in them, and I don't suggest, mixing paint with a palette that has a bridge between each of these areas. I like a large open mixing area where I can bring in some water, I can bring the paint, I can dissolve that color and let it float into other color options. And so I'm able to see all the different tints of that green as it dissolves from the yellow into the blue. I have room for some little, highlight colors. There's a great little highlight opera in with a little peacock blue, and I can see all the different color variations. Look at all the different changes along the way. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that particular one or this particular one, so I have several to look at. I can really get an idea of being more colorful. I have lots of room, so I can mix this red and this orange far away from the blue, the red far enough away from the greens, and still get an idea of seeing that color instead of having a separate mixing area to mix this a separate palette altogether. So the idea behind this is the porcelain, the color stays there. If you have a plastic, the color is going to contract. Here, being on porcelain, the color is going to expand, and that's the feature that I wanted to show off. So as I'm busy painting away and I come back, all of a sudden I'll see that color. I hadn't thought about that color combination with just a little bit of red. And so seeing these colors just pop out at me, waiting for me in essence, and then I can see little subtle little variations. So enjoy the floating and the running, that the porcelain palette will provide, because that's what's going to give you a better visual before you actually use the color. And the color will stay wet, stay moist a little bit longer, and expand into other colors instead of contracting as it would on plastic. Now that was a quick little tidbit, but it all comes together. I mean, a good brush, good brand of paint, and as you just saw, a palette that can help that creative process, instead of hinder it. So a little large size, that open mixing area, but porcelain. I can't say enough about how the color floats, it runs into each other, and as you saw, it gives you better visual ideas so that the creative process doesn't have as many challenges to overcome. I hope you enjoyed that little quick idea about my palette and why I really enjoy that porcelain aspect to the palette. Thanks for watching. See you in class soon, and I'll be on the internet, artacademylive.com. Hey, bye for now.